I'm the best flyweight in Europe by far, and I feel like I deserve my spot in the UFC now.
Howdy, welcome to the breakdown for Jake Hadley versus Mitch Raposo on Dana White's Contender Series in the flyweight division. Super excited for this fight. The fight I'm most excited for on this season easily. Jake Hadley, not that he's going to be on my radar like if I mean something, but I've kept an eye on Jake Hadley. Very impressive. I love watching flyweight. It's probably my most fun division, I would say. Jake Hadley, former EFC and Cage Warriors flyweight champion. Something to note about that EFC fight, that was a 5-round fight. And also, he was basically brought in there to basically be Feds the champion. I think Jake Hadley was 3-0 at the time against 11-2 Zulu, who was already credentialed. And I think massive upset. That's what really put Jake Hadley on a lot of radars. Jake Hadley also fought Blaine O'Driscoll in Bellator. Blaine O'Driscoll is an Irish fighter, that he fought a lot of good leagues. He fought in Bama, he fought in Bellator, he just recently fought against Mokaev Muhammad. But Jake Hadley, I think, has all the tools to be a very good top contender in the UFC. And he's got Mitch Raposo in front of him, who is a former tough veteran. Lost his fight against Ludovic Shalinian, but this fight is at flyweight and not bantamweight. And, Mitch Raposo is not new to flyweight. He fought his whole amateur career at flyweight, just started fighting at bantamweight as a pro. And I think it was the right move for him to come back down to flyweight. He even mentioned on his Instagram how he felt way better coming back down to flyweight. I think the size advantage is going to be better for him, right? He fought Ludovic Shalinian on tough, who was 5'10", something stupid for a bantamweight, basically like Corey Sandhagen size. But one thing that Mitch Raposo did very well in that tough fight against Ludovic Shalinian, because he's a lot shorter of a fighter, he did very well in blitzing and throwing in combinations as soon as he got in the pocket, right? There's a lot of fighters who are a lot shorter and they like to jump blitz into the pocket, but they don't throw enough volume, right? And I think Mitch Raposo does that very well. His scrambles, I say they're decent. Obviously, against Ludovic Shalinian, much bigger opponent, and also he has a very good pedigree. I think he's Ukrainian champion, national champion in wrestling, so you couldn't really slack him off for that. But I think one thing that Jake Hadley does very well that will be problems for Mitch Raposo is that Jake Hadley has a very pressure-heavy game, but he counters. He's a pressure-heavy counter, and I think that's going to be bad for Mitch Raposo, right? Jake Hadley doesn't have that big of a reach advantage like Ludovic Shalinian did have over Mitch Raposo. But I think Jake Hadley, especially for how Mitch Raposo likes to blitz into the pocket, I think that's very good for Jake Hadley to counter and obviously put up Mitch Raposo against the cage, because Mitch Raposo likes to hang on the outside. And Jake Hadley's recent fight against Hawk, you look at his record 10-4, but you look into that fight and Hawk has very good movement. Bouncing around the cage, he got Jake Hadley with a bunch of leg kicks. But the problem with that is to stop someone with pressure heavy like Jake Hadley, you need to chop at their legs, and Mitch Raposo doesn't do that. Mitch Raposo doesn't even throw leg kicks. I haven't seen him throw a leg kick in the footage that I saw. But what Hawk did, similar to Mitch Raposo, was fight on the outside, blitz in, and catch Jake Hadley. But what Jake Hadley eventually did was he just caught him with a counter and just put him up against the cage and just threw volume. And I think that'll happen here with Mitch Raposo. Mitch Raposo has a very gassing type of style. Obviously, him moving down to flyweight is going to help him a lot. But I think Jake Hadley, with his counters, Mitch Raposo is just I don't see him dropping Jake Hadley. And the way that he strikes, I'm not sure if it's going to change because he's down at flyweight. He doesn't really have to cover as much distance, right? We don't see the reach here on Mitch Raposo. I think the counters of Jake Hadley are going to be very effective in his pressure, and he might even be able to take down Mitch Raposo, right? Mitch Raposo was taken down, and since he's a wrestler, he likes to give his back sometimes. Jake Hadley took the back of Blaine O'Driscoll, choked him out, choked a lot of people with a rear naked choke, and I think that's a very high possibility here with Mitch Raposo after he gasses from circling around the cage, trying to blitz into Jake Hadley. I don't think these guys are going to wrestle. I don't think they're going to, they might wrestle, but I think it'll cancel out. I think Jake Hadley's going to want to keep this on the feet, at least until maybe he rocks Mitch Raposo. Jake Hadley's a little bit more well-rounded, and I think his style of pressure counter is very effective against someone who likes to fight on the outside like Mitch Raposo. I feel like I'm missing some things. Jake Hadley fights in Fearless MMA in Birmingham, England. He fights with guys doesn't fight with Leon Edwards, completely different weight classes, but it's from that same gym. Both guys bred as MMA fighters. You know what I mean? When they were teenagers, they started in MMA. I could say you can maybe give the wrestling advantage to Mitch Raposo, but I definitely prefer the grappling overall from Jake Hadley. I think they stay on the feet, and I think that pressure counter heavy game from Jake Hadley is going to be very effective against Mitch Raposo. Who knows? Maybe Mitch Raposo comes and surprises us from moving down from bantamweight to flyweight. But I'm very high on Jake Hadley, and I think he does very well if he comes to the UFC. Yeah, I'll take Jake Hadley. Very hard to predict when you got two fighters who literally could finish things everywhere, especially guys like Jake Hadley who could literally put you out or just decide to choke you out. Just because Mitch Raposo likes to give his back, I wouldn't be surprised if Jake Hadley gets a rear naked choke. But a TKO prop for Jake Hadley wouldn't be bad either, probably in the second round. If he finishes Mitch Raposo in the first round, he's better than I thought. But yeah, I'll take Jake Hadley all day. If you like Mitch Raposo and you think he'll mix up the wrestling well, you think he'll do well blitzing and with his power, take Mitch Raposo by decision. Mitch Raposo, if you look at his record, fought at amateurs only in flyweight, and he got all his wins by decision. Hasn't finished anybody yet in flyweight. So I'll take Jake Hadley, finish TKO or rear naked choke, or if you like Mitch Raposo as a pick, take him by decision. That'll be all.